This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. Today's video is brought to you by Surfshark. In just a minute, I'm going to talk about an offer exclusive to my audience that I know will benefit you. Of all the characters that surround a president, press secretaries are among the highest level with the most intimate access. Obviously, you've got your chiefs of staff and other figures, characters that surround a president, but the press secretary really is, on a day-to-day basis, in the thick of it. Donald Trump had his fair share over his only 4 years, many press secretaries, from Sean Spicer on through to the last dingus that we know of, Kayleigh McEnany. But in the middle there was someone named Stephanie Grisham, who started off as Melania Trump's chief of staff and then moved over to take the role of the White House press secretary. Never held a briefing, ever. A single briefing. Was really kind of a do-nothing, but still had access. And as I've talked about many times, one of the ways we're going to get to the truth, one of the ways that Donald Trump may see consequence is through both civil lawsuits and also some of these books that are being written, because it'll give a jumping off point for investigations going forward. The Washington Post has obtained a copy of Stephanie Grisham's new book, and it is illuminating, to say the least, on a few different fronts. I'm going to talk about two different stories. One is relative to Putin, which is the most important story, and the other is about his grossly inappropriate behavior with staffers. Before I get to that, though, a word from today's sponsor, Surfshark. Every time I travel, I expose myself to the minefield that is the open internet. Airport Wi-Fi is ever a questionable connection, and hotel internet always seems rife with aggressive advertising. Are you actually reading through that login agreement before you sign into the lobby Wi-Fi? I mean, come on, none of us are. The best way to safeguard your travels? Surfshark. With Surfshark, you don't have to sweat those wicked Wi-Fi networks. Surfshark encrypts all of your online data from your download history to your direct messages so that you can cruise the web anywhere in total safety and anonymity. Take a moment to protect your information. Sign up with Surfshark right now and get 83% off of a 2-year plan and get 3 extra months for free. Go to surfshark.deal/Dollemore. We're talking only $2.21 per month to protect your data. And Surfshark is backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you even have a trial period to experience all of the benefits. Ever had a bank card shut off because you're shopping from an unfamiliar place? That's the worst. Surfshark obscures your location so you won't get dinged for logging in somewhere unknown. With more than 3,200 servers in over 65 countries, you will never be without a Surfshark server. Even in countries with restrictive region control, Surfshark's no borders mode will keep you browsing freely and safely. To travel safer, get on over to surfshark.deal/Dollemore and use code Dollemore to protect yourself online today. You'll never have to worry about who or what else is on that airport Wi-Fi ever again. So let's get into this article from the Washington Post entitled, "Trump Played Tough with Putin When Cameras Were Around, While Putin Toyed with His Insecurities," a new book says. Little is known about what happened in the 90-minute conversation between President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin in Osaka, Japan 2 years ago. But as journalists were quickly ushered out of the room at the 2019 Group of 20 summit, Stephanie Grisham once again found herself with a close-up view of the action. She saw Trump lean toward Putin that day and tell him, quote, "Okay, I'm going to act a little tougher with you for a few minutes, but it's for the cameras, and after they leave, we'll talk. You understand." Now, as with many things related to Donald Trump and the Donald Trump administration, this should not come as a surprise to anyone. Donald Trump displayed nothing but fawning obsequiousness toward Vladimir Putin. Donald Trump dealt with him with kid gloves, with deference, with an inexplicable loyalty to the hostile foreign power, the man who sat over and supervised the attack on our very democracy during the 2016 election. Donald Trump has given him a pass time after time after time after time. Any reasonable person is going to be asking the question, why? Why Vladimir Putin? When every other world leader was met with threats. I mean, Kim Jong-un, the fire and fury the world's never seen, all of that nonsense. But not Vladimir Putin. He got the royal treatment from Donald Trump. It's just one of many telling interactions detailed by Grisham in her new book titled, I'll Take Your Questions Now. A hilarious title, since she never gave a press briefing. One of the most senior and longest-serving Trump advisors, she worked, I want you to remember that. One of the most senior and longest-serving Trump advisors. She was there during the campaign and lasted all the way through. I believe she quit on January 6th. She wasn't a fly-by-night. She was a Trump loyalist. So there's two things to keep in mind there. One, she was in it. She should be held accountable for her role in this fascist regime. But two, she was one of them. They were thick as thieves. One of the most senior and longest-serving Trump advisors, she worked as the president's third press secretary and as First Lady Melania Trump's chief of staff and communications director before she resigned on January 6th during the Capitol riot. Her 352-page book, obtained by the Washington Post, alleges a litany of misdeeds by the 45th president, from ogling a young female staffer, which we're going to get to. That's one of the points I'm going to talk about. From ogling a young female staffer to orchestrating lies for the public to attempting to ban the news media from the White House compound. It also gives a rare firsthand look at Melania Trump, who craved her privacy, and a blow-by-blow of how she wound up wearing the I really don't care, do you jacket. Grisham even claims to know dirt on Trump's hair, which she says he cuts himself with, quote, a huge pair of scissors that could possibly cut a ribbon at an opening of one of his properties, end quote. Quote, the intent behind this book is obvious. Melania Trump's office said in a statement after a passage leaked comparing the former First Lady to Marie Antoinette. It's an attempt to redeem herself after a poor performance as press secretary, failed personal relationships, and unprofessional behavior in the White House. Through mistruth and betrayal, she seeks to gain relevance and money at the expense of Mrs. Trump. Again, you can't have it both ways, dummies. You don't get to say, I hire the best people. I surround myself with the very best. And then every time you fire one or they quit, they're the worst. Oh, they're the worst. They have malign intent. You don't get to have it both ways. When every single time someone leaves, it's a terrible situation because they start telling the truth. Likewise, the former president responded to the book with a statement that tossed accusations back at Grisham. This book is another pitiful attempt to cash in on the president's strength and sell lies about the Trump family, said Trump spokesperson Liz Harrington. She called Grisham a disgruntled former employee and said publishers should be ashamed of themselves for preying on desperate people who see the short-term gain in writing a book full of falsehoods. Grisham is undeniably one of the Trump originals. She was wrangling reporters on the campaign plane in 2016 before working her way into Trump's inner circles. And she is still viewed widely as a consummate Trump insider. A major theme of the book is the culture of lies that pervaded Trump's administration. Casual dishonesty filtered through the White House as if it were the air conditioning system, Grisham writes. What a meaty metaphor she's using. Now, this is obviously something to pay attention to relative to his inaction with Putin, his cozying up to Putin, his sycophancy, his obsession with Vladimir Putin. And strongmen all around, but Vladimir Putin specifically. But it does also, I mean, remember the moment where Donald Trump had a meeting and kicked out any American interpreter. So the only people in the room were Russians and him. And that's it. Treasonous behavior, to be sure. Here's the moment that I want to read about him being inappropriate with both Stephanie Grisham and this young female press aide. Grisham alleges that Trump became obsessed with a young female press aide who isn't named in the book. The president constantly asked where the aide was during press events, Grisham wrote, and allegedly once requested that she be brought to his cabin on Air Force One so he could, quote, look at her, and it says behind. So he wanted to look at this girl's ass and had her summoned to the presidential cabin on Air Force One. It's worse. It gets worse. Trump behaved inappropriately with Grisham, too, she wrote. Once calling her from Air Force One, presumably on the phone, to assure her that his penis was not small or toadstool-shaped, as the porn star Stormy Daniels has alleged in an interview. Grisham also wrote that Trump once asked her then-boyfriend, a fellow Trump aide, if she was good in bed. You know, like a good boss does. Like a decent president of the United States does. Focused on the important things, the business of the country, and how good in bed your press secretary is. Donald Trump is a disgusting gargoyle. A danger to the republic, both politically, culturally, with foreign leaders, but also with just basic staff. He doesn't have the basic human decency or morality or ethical framework with which to run our country or a company. What do you think, though? I'd love to know about this. Are you going to read this book? Do you believe what's in this book? You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me daily at dollemore.com. Thank you for stopping by today. Thanks for engaging with my content, liking and subscribing and commenting. The like button really does do a number on getting my content, YouTube to push it out to new people. So please click the like button, write a little comment in there. Make sure you're subscribed. I would ask that you consider supporting my work. If I bring you value on a daily basis, whether it be a smile or a little information that you may not have had, please consider supporting my work, producing my work here. You can click the join button below this video, become a channel member, or you can go over to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast, which is also covering the video production, not just the podcast. Anyway, I love you guys. I will see you next time. Until I do, be genuine. Take care of one another.